Hey guys, Lord here, back in with another action figure review. Today we'll be taking a look at the Figura Obscura Gods of Ancient Egypt. Not Horus, boo-hoo, but the next best thing, another bird-headed deity, Thoth, the god of writing and wisdom, if I'm not mistaken. That said, this of course brought to us by the fine folks over at Horsemen Studios, who will remain fine folks despite the fact that my order from the most recent in-stock sale they had went to freaking Denver, Colorado, of all places. That's almost Pacific time for those of you who don't live in the US, so that's on the opposite end of the country. But thankfully, despite the detour, it actually made it here relatively quickly after that, so I am thoroughly impressed. But what I'm not impressed with is the loose waist and hip this guy has going for him. That kind of sucks, but hopefully I'll be able to hit up customer service and get that fixed. But at any rate, before we get too far ahead of ourselves, why don't we cut right to the chase and get into the meat and potatoes of this review and take a look-see at all Thoth has to offer in terms of accessories, starting off with a little booklet, which has factoids and info about this particular deity, which this is actually quite a bit of stuff in here, so if you're into that type of thing, then you'll be very happy with that. That said, we do get a pair of grip hands with the wrong hinges for holding weapons, or accessories in this case, because Thoth is not a god of war, after all. But these have the up and down hinge, or in and out hinge, excuse me. And then we get this looks like a ruler to me, but I think it's a slate. And then we get the stylus. I will probably display him with these, only because he does also come with his own signature staff and an Ankh, and as of right now, Anubis is my staff Ankh holding guy. So no homo, and I don't want things to seem redundant, so I'm gonna probably just tuck those away. And speaking of Anubis, he comes with the Anubis staff on top of that, so I don't know what the significance of that is. If somebody can tell me in the comments, I'd very much appreciate that, because I find it weird that he comes with the same staff as Anubis, and it's different from his own, because you could tell that this head is more, I want to say bird-like, and this one has like the jackal features. So that is interesting. Same shape though. That said, we do also get an alternate kind of stone head and neck piece, which is weird that it's like the stone head and neck. I mean, I get it, but you know, the rest of his body doesn't look like a statue, so that seems kind of odd to me, but whatever, it is what it is. And then we also get a pair of alternate feet. Now, these actually come packaged on him, but I swapped him out because the human feet are a little bit easier to manage. He's got bird feet, and these are really big, awesome-looking bird feet, complete with scoots. Like this video if you know what a scoot is. But at any rate, he's got these big arse bird feet. These actually have peg holes on the bottom, unlike the paw feet that came with Bastet and Anubis, so that's cool. I'm tempted to throw these on Xenothon, the Stratos homage, because, well, that figure could always be better than it actually is. I mean, he's not terrible, but he's not great either. We also get this little statue piece, which mine appears to be warped somehow, so I might need to straighten that out, but it's got this little ibis bird sitting on it with this little, I don't want to say that's a monkey, but I don't know what that is, this little dude on the end here, but it's a very nice kind of artifact piece, and will go good with the jackal and cat that came with Anubis and Bastet if you're setting up some kind of Egyptian tomb. And then the last thing he comes with is a extra hat or crown piece with this kind of sun circle thing on it. And all you gotta do to swap that out is take the little itty-bitty one off his head, expose that peg hole, and then you can just plug this right in. Like so. And look at that. There you go. Now he's got a big circle on his head. That's a common thing with Egyptian deities, I think. I know Ra has one. But before we get too far ahead of ourselves, once again, we do have the packaging to talk about, because that's almost an accessory in itself. It's got the trifold that you can open up. It's been a while since I did one of these reviews. I forget if I set the trifold up before or after articulation, but there you go. There's the trifold, and then we got the packaging. There's the front, there's the back. I show that off a little better in my unboxing video on my Instagram at Overlord Productions. Period is in the dot, not the word. You can check that out if you haven't already. That said, I will say it does show Bastet on the back here. At least it did. Maybe it shows Thoth now, and I'm just talking out my arse. But kind of odd that Thoth is not on his own packaging or trifold thingy. But I don't really care. So, you know, it is what it is. Packaging is usually just something that goes in the trash, but I do keep these trifolds. They are really nice for dioramas because they're flat and don't take up a lot of room. But as far as Thoth goes, he is cool looking. I'm just going to take this off so I can move his head around. It's not for nothing. This does feel like it's got a little bit of give to it on the sides. And then, yeah, I wouldn't futz with that too much. But he looks cool. He's got the long beak here. His eyes. I think it's the same skin tone as Anubis and Bastet. What's not the same tone is the loincloth. He's got a brick red loincloth, which, fine, but he doesn't really match the other ones. That said, as far as articulation goes, his head will rotate side to side. He's got a bit of tilt. He has even more range if you pull this off the back of his head. There we go. You pull that off, he's got a full-blown disc hinge that works pretty well. You can look all the way up, all the way down. His neck will rotate. He's got mad tilt and rotation because his head's so skinny. Shoulders will pop up like that. Back down, forward and back. Single jointed elbow, which can get that far if you push it. Make like Static X and push it. It's got a swivel at the elbow, rotation, and the appropriate hinge for holding stuff in these hands, which is nice. Torso can lean back that far, forward this far, tilt, and rotate, but it's not very tight on mine. It's fairly loose, so I'm gonna have to get that fixed. Already mentioned that. Popping his arm out, his hips can kick out. This hip is pretty loose on mine as well. It's not very tight at all, so I have to get that fixed as well. He can kick forward and back. He's got a thigh swivel. Single jointed knee, which is tight, thankfully. And then he has a swivel below the knee, as well as a swivel in the ankle with a hinge, nice and tight on that, and a rocker and peg holes at the bottom of the feet. So, cool figure. Couple loose joints I need to work on, and no busted wire in the skirt, thankfully, because I don't like being stabbed. So if I can just get him put back together here. I will talk about the rest of my in-stock order. I got the, obviously this guy, but I also got that fish dude, what's his name, Koi. He'll be going up tomorrow, and I got a few of those gladiators, so we'll be checking out 4 Horsemen stuff throughout the week, so I hope you guys are ready for something a little different. I know it's been a lot of Hasbro lately, but I had a lot of stuff in the backlog, so It had to be done. Unfortunately. Let me see if I can grab the right staff here. Give him the onk. I'll attempt to give him the onk. The hands are pretty stiff, so once you get these in there, they're not going to fall right out. Which is cool, but holy crap. There's that. And then we got his little birdie staff here. At least I think that's a bird. Again, it's shaped like the other one, so I'm not entirely sure. I would think it is. He's got a bird head, not a dog head. There we go. Be careful with the little... Looks like a titty twister at the end of that. But there he is. There is Thoth in all of his glory. Looking pretty cool. I'm going to say he's probably my second favorite Figura Obscura from last year. Which is saying a lot because I didn't have to get a bunch of stuff replaced on those. But I like him quite a bit. I mean, I'm a sucker for Egyptian mythology and whatnot, but while he's not outdoing the Mouse King, I definitely am enjoying him a little bit more than the Jersey Devil and Ganesha, mostly because those are probably a lot more finicky. Ganesha had the bigger body and the extra arms, and the Jersey Devil you have the very antiquated Four Horsemen wings, which I hope they update someday. Like they did these awesome bird feet. Again, complete with scoots. So, with that being said, I think it is time now that we move right along and take a look at some size comparisons. First up, here is good old Thoth, the Egyptian god of wisdom, alongside our other gods of ancient Egypt. We have Anubis, the god of the dead, and Bastet, the goddess of, is it fertility? Something like that. Either way, we got a jackal, an ibis, and a kitty cat. Hopefully we'll get, what is Horus? A falcon, and Set is an aardvark at some point. I think they would be really, really cool. And hey, if we get a Horus, then that's one step closer to the big dog, Ra, right? Because, well, they kind of have the same head going on, just different colors. But as you can see, Anubis and Thoth's unks, pretty much the same. What's not the same is Thoth's soft goods. I don't know why he's got a red skirt, while these two have white skirts. Granted, the retailer version of Bastet has a red skirt, but I don't want to have to buy another figure to have stuff match. That said, it should be worth noting that while I did have a couple of loose joints with Thoth, one thing I didn't have was a skirt with busted wires in it. Both Anubis and Bastet had that problem. Thankfully, I got my Anubis' skirt fixed. It's got a solid wire going throughout, whereas Bastet, I've had probably 3 or 4 skirts for her at this point, and every single one the wire is busted. What's up with that? And I even asked a friend, hey, is your Bastet skirt wire busted? And it is. So I don't know what Sam Heck's going on with that. Hopefully the retailer version is better. Let me know if the retailer version is better. I am very curious. Maybe it'll push me to pick that one up and get rid of this one. But at any rate, anyone hear word on the new retailer wave? Seems like it's been a while since heard anything on anything like that. So getting these two out of the way. I guess before we do that, here's Anubis's staff. And here's the one that came with Thoth. I guess you could swap those out if you want, but I don't really see that big of a difference. Let's bring in our 2 regulars. We got the Mythical Agents, Brother Mandiboleth, also from Four Horsemen Studios, as well as the infamous Element Spawn, who is probably, I mean, if we count his fancy hat, not towering over Thoth today, but if we don't count that, because that is kind of cheating, he of course towers over everyone. So with that being said, it's time now that we wrap things up with some final thoughts. overall, and aside from the loosish waist and, was it left hip on my particular figure, I gotta tell ya, I'm quite the fan of good old Thoth, the Egyptian god of wisdom here, despite the fact that I don't think he's outdoing the Mouse King for me, but he does something for me that a lot of the Figura Obscuras from 2025 didn't really do. Ganesha was cool, but kind of a pain in the butt. The Jersey Devil was cool, but kind of a pain in the butt. The Mouse King was a pain in the butt too, but you can make him not a pain in the butt by swapping on the regular neck and head. This guy feels more like that. He's a little bit more, we'll say, standard, for lack of a better term, and I don't know, I just feel more comfortable messing around and playing with him than I did with Ganesha or the Jersey Devil. So I guess if I had to rank him, he'd probably come in at second place as far as 2025 Figura Obscuras go. But maybe I'm just talking out of my arse. So with that being said, hope you guys enjoyed this review, and until next time, I'll catch you guys later.